What's up? Joe Manuel here, and today we're going to be looking at how to design this Lotus Yoga app that you see in front of you in a tool called Bubble. Bubble is a no-code tool that allows you to build apps, and in this case, we're looking at mobile apps. There are things called web apps, and if you find yourself here, what are you going to learn by watching and following these videos? You're going to learn how to build this app. As you can imagine, what any yoga app might have is a bunch of options for yoga classes. Now, before we go all through this, I just want to say you can find this Lotus Yoga app if you wanted to dig into, I don't know, an iPhone or Android download, and they have a 7-day free trial or something, so you don't have to pay. Just to take a look at the what it is we're going to be working with, and it's actually, you know, if you download it, you'll find it worthwhile, because what you'll find is, oh, here's some folks out there, probably a yoga studio, I would imagine, or some really great yoga teacher who's been doing this for a long time, knows their stuff, wants to put it into a digital form, and they built this app with what do we got here? We got a home, classes, plans, library, and this home screen, top picks for you, what's new, some basically pre-selected collections of courses. That's what we could call them. And yeah, so they've put together this app. This is now on the classes panel at the bottom here, where it's possible to filter by, all the options up top, depending on what interests you, or what you might be into specifically for yoga. And then jumping to the plans panel at the bottom, for the menu, got those ones joined, those ones that are available to be joined, get ready for the summer. Basically they give you some additional info, but basically it's a list of, here's what to do every day, and here's how we'll get you there. You could easily see this being some kind of exercise thing, high intensity interval training, or Pilates, or, some other type of fitness program. That could be implemented here, so you could get ideas for whatever it is, your particular app that you might have in mind. If what I'm already saying here is kind of hitting you in any way, and you've stuck with it this far, you're seeing this app, you've maybe got some ideas rolling in your head of what you could be doing for your world, your apps. It's got some exercise history here, right? Some favorites, downloads, things we've seen here. So, all right. Let's get us back to this home screen, and then focus in on these icons. In this video, what we'll learn is how to build this menu, click around to some things, and then in subsequent videos, we'll build the home screen and all this stuff on it. We'll build the classes, the plans, the libraries. It'll be great. So we're over here in Bubble, and what I've already got set up is just like the standard page that starts you with, but I've brought it down to 320 by 568 width I've used on another app. And speaking of other apps, I built an app to help photographers find basically cool spots to take pictures, and got about 60 some thousand downloads so far. I've had it for a little while. Basically, just to let you all know, as you're walking through and working through something like this, you're getting this information from somebody who has been there, has walked down the path. We've got it into the iOS store, the Google Play store, and that's kind of what I've been up to for building my own app. And then obviously, like, this is just a fun world. So here I am sharing this and making this video. I hope you're enjoying. Also, thank you so much for jumping along on this ride. It's going to be fun. We're going to get going. So what do we need to do here inside of Bubble? Well, if you've never seen Bubble before, we've got some design area, mainly going to be working there in this video. I'm not going to introduce really much anything else. What do you need to know? Don't worry about it. Just the best way to learn something like this, chill out and watch some videos, right? Seeing is learning. Doing is learning. If you wanted to get a free plan, they offer that, so you could get and work right alongside. Just go over to bubble.io and sign up. I'm not affiliated with them, just love their product. And what are we going to do here? So we're going to start with this floating group, plop it onto the page, and we're going to give it some dimensions, bring it over and bring it all the way across. We're going to give it a height of 60, and then we're going to give it a Y value to start at 508. 508 plus 60 is 568, which is the height of this mobile course. That might change, depending on what size or how much stuff we're putting on the pages when we get to designing there. But for this video, good enough. So call this the menu. You'll notice here in this elements tree, we've got this new item that I just built here. I'm going to give it a bit of a darker, let's go all the way dark, just so we can get some contrast, see what we're working with. And now I'm going to click over to these visual elements. You'll see basically a lot of these. Mine has a little bit more because I've got some plugins that add some additional options since I have some other things going on in this bubble account. One of these things, we could grab a little icon here that they give you right out of the box. But I'm actually going to, there's one, if you went to plugins and you installed a particular one, I really like this Google material icon. It's an iconography made by Google that basically is, all your standard stuff, right? No need to reinvent the wheel. And going to, so when we think about this menu, one thing to notice is we've got some stuff that's more highlighted versus some stuff that's dimmed out, right? The highlighted one is when that page is active. So I'm going to just get some text here and access to editing this style. Make this a little bit bigger so you can see the word home, center it, bring that down a little. All right. It's okay to just kind of roughly estimate this, but I think this is a pretty decent color, whatever this one is. Or that's too bright. Oh, you know what? There is this thing in this world of design where actually I prefer sometimes to not make these two the exact same colors because it could be a little bit darker. Because the text for some reason to your eye, it just looks slightly different. So just eyeball it, and then we'll take this and we're just going to call this home icon. Text home. Okay, and then I'm going to group these together, and this group, make it a little bit wider. Center this horizontally, center this horizontally, and then center this one vertically. Nope, not that. You can easily hit undo on things. It's just great. So center vertically. Great. So we're just going to guesstimate the for where this should end up. So this is group home button. Now, there's going to be a trick that we're going to do. I've done it a couple different ways. You've got these groups that we're going to build, put on the page here. When you click this, it's going to show a group. And we're going to do that through kind of a fancy method with some URLs, because the Android phones have a back button. The iOS ones do not. In order to handle that well, the best way to do it is to have a little parameter. You see this page that I'm on. You don't actually need to know about this in detail. For those curious, I'll explain it. But you got this thing that says version, test. Name mobile course. That's the name of this page that we're working on, and I'm in the development version, so it's a test. It's just some stuff that tells the computer things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go get data from a page URL, and we're going to call this one navigation. And when the navigation is home, then Actually, that's not what we want to do. I'm selected on this group. I'm going to copy that and then remove the condition. What I want is I want this icon to change. So paste that, and I want the icon color to come up to, I don't know, something more lighter. DB sounds good to me. What would it look like? So we're on 4F. If we did DB, that's really bright. How's about CCCCC? Perfect. Okay, so we'll go 6 C's. Get this back to that. Okay, cool. Now, what do we want to have happen when someone clicks this? We're not going to worry about that just yet. We're just going to copy and paste that. We're going to bring it over and take a look at our next one, classes. We've got a search icon. So we'll grab that. Call this one classes. It might be a little bit too long, so we'll take this out to 45 maybe. Center horizontally. Maybe we want to 50. Let's see, what other words? Classes, library. I think we should be good. Now let's get it like 60. Okay. And then we'll just center this stuff horizontally inside of here. Call this one 60. Center horizontally. And I wouldn't, if you haven't already, I would recommend watching this on like 2x speed. We're just kind of in the weeds here, designing out each of these things. But if you're actually going to, follow along in design, then, by all means, take your time. But, just to kind of get the general idea, go for it. Go ahead and cruise through this video. It just might be something that we've got to knock this out here, so it's just what you got to do. Now let's note that the name of our page is Home, Classes, Plans, Library. So Homes, Classes. So this is that conditional. So like we'll feed some this navigation parameter that we've called navigation. So let's call it nav. That makes more sense. I can call it a navigation parameter called nav rather than a navigation parameter called navigation. Might confuse the nomenclature. Okay, cool. So the next thing is plans. Center that horizontally. Take a look for, I don't know what that icon would be called. Some kind of stacky thing. Start up here at the top and see what we can find. Some of these look too much like a regular menu. Okay, and that's it. That's all the icons. Nothing is sticking out that looked like that thing. This one looks close enough. Some kind of stacky thing. All right, cool. So conditional for when the parameter that we're going with called nav here is, in this case, it'll be plans. This will make sense, as we begin to use it more. So, in our last one, library, okay. What do we got for an icon? We got a heart or a favorite icon. Yep, cool. Let's see, how are we looking? Heart is also really big when it's solid. Touch. Library, make sure that's centered horizontally. Make sure that conditional is updated. Library. Okay, so what do we have? Let's just take a look. This is mobile course. I've got this little simulator. How do you access this on your device? Oh, I've got this thing when I record these videos that sits right where, I don't know if this even shows up on the video, but anyways, yeah, it might be invisible, this thing I'm talking about, because it's part of the thing I'm using to record this. But anyways, all right, not so bad. The plans looks like it could move up a little bit. The spacing is not exactly perfect, but we're doing pretty good. We've got something that looks like a mobile menu. So I'm not going to worry too much about the particulars of the spacing of everything. We can try. I want this to come up, let's just say 3 pixels. And I want the height of this to be another 3. And then I want this to go down 3 pixels so that the text stays all the same. Then I want to make this one 3 bigger. And I think I want to make this one smaller yet still. Just a preference thing in a job. Bounce that over. Looks pretty good. And so, okay, this preview area, yeah, that's a pretty good looking menu. Not perfect, but good enough. There's a way to access this. Basically, what do you got to do? This is what the page would look like under normal circumstances without that thing called Chrome Developer Tools. How do you get that on yours? Actually, this is what the page would look like. So you go to this, you right click and you go to inspect. And I've already got these settings set up, but this device, yeah, if you right click, you probably would, get this. And then you click this little toggle device thing, and then you click show device frame, and then you got some default out of the box things here. And yeah, so notice that when I changed the size, we actually saw some things kind of break. So that's great. Meaning that we got some feedback is what's great about it. Looks like we've got some updating to do. So what can we do? Let's try this. Put these all into a group. And I did a Control G there to get these into a group. Group menu layout. And we'll take this thing and center horizontally. Let's see. It's not fixed width, so that's good. What did that do for us? Nothing. All right, let's see. There's another trick, something we can do. We can just add in some little menu, or some little menus, add into our menu these little spacer things. and just have them touch the edges of each of these groups, and it should just kind of automatically snap to the edges. All good enough there. If it doesn't snap to the edges, I'll figure it out on the next go round. So to that edge, and then yeah, again, this is great to have double speed rolling on this, so you can just get through it. But it's like just the things you have to do to see how things are going. Part of the building process. Okay, cool. So that kind of laid it out better. So the responsive engine just automatically utilize those groups to give better spacing. Cool. We have some extra space at the bottom here. So how do we want to handle that? Let's add 100 like that. So that fixes it on the iPhone 6. What about the iPhone 5? We lose it there. Da, 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 da. Just thinking out, or thinking for a second. We always want to have float to the bottom. Oh, that's our issue. Okay, so let me hit the back button again here. Let's get us back. Okay, so what I did is I had a setting that was off. So don't make the mistake of not putting this to the bottom. Float this to the bottom, and that will solve it for when it's on this iPhone 6 as well as iPhone 5. So there you see we've got a pretty nice looking menu on both. Even if we get crazy here, down to the iPad. So we can see there a little bit off, even more so when you get that big. But that's something you could get exact, with more of these spaces. Add one of those spacing groups on the left of this and on the right of this library. We're not going to do that in this video, but in the interest of time, let's start with creating some groups that we're just going to give some out of the box colors, and 300, 10, 10. Just going to get some of these things. See, I think we want about 488. 10 there plus 60 gets us up to 568, somewhere around there. But okay, cool. So we're going to call this one home group. And we're doing this so that we can see the progress we make when we can see when we click on one of these, we can see the page update. All right. And if you are still here, you are amazing. We are so close to getting the functionality and then showing off that functionality, and that'll be it for this video. So we've got a home group, we've got a classes group. And group. and we've got a library group. Okay, so these groups are kind of like our pages. Basically, the content that will show up when we're on home, classes, plans, library. So how do we control? There's a setting. This element is not visible when the page is loaded. And we want to apply that to all of these because there's a little trick we're going to do that involves some page navigation elements. So what do we want to have happen here? So this home one, get nav, we're just going to copy this expression and we're going to paste it here. Be easy, so no mistakes to be made. This element will be visible when the parameter is home. The nav parameter is home. And for this one, we'll do the one for classes. This element will be visible when that nav is classes, that nav parameter. Copy it for the plans. Paste it. What will happen when that nav parameter is plans? Well, this will be visible. So we see it. It's basically how our navigation will work. Library. Are these the same color? They are. I did not update that. We got to get one more color here. Okay. Library gets the conditional that when the nav parameter is library, we're going to show this. So what does this do for us? Well, this home button, what we want to have happen when this home button is clicked, we want to navigate, go to page. I think we're working on this one. Yeah, mobile course. We want to go to the page that we're already on, but we want to send a nav parameter of home. That'll take us to the home page. And just going to copy this. We'll do the same thing when we're going to grab this group, this whole group. When this group is clicked, we do the start workflow action. Just going to paste that other action in. And now we're going to go to classes. Right? So that's our next item on the menu, classes. So when that is clicked, go to the page with that nav parameter equaling classes. And then for plans, when that is clicked, paste it, go to the page with the nav parameter equaling plans. And lastly, the library, start and edit that. And we're almost there, folks. We're at the finish line, basically. Library. So this defines, okay, we're going to give these some names. Group, classes button, group, plans button. This name shows up in the workflow. So if we're ever over there working on some stuff, we're like, what is home copy 3? So now we have home button, library button, plans button, classes button. When all these are clicked, something special is going to happen. Let's see what that is. Okay, so let's click the home. Classes, home. Oh, you know what? I added it for these ones, but I did not add it for the actual navigation queue. for this home group. I added that. Okay, I need to select that so that the element is visible. That's what we want to have happen. Okay. So how would we have this this element expand to the bottom? We're not going to worry about that in this video. What we are, because when we actually build these pages, they're going to be different heights, and it'll be something that we tackle all at one time. But basically, what we've got going on is a nice little menu that no matter what page you're on and where you click to navigate to the other one, you can find your way there through our navigation structure. And the back button will also work because we've changed this little parameter. So the URL has changed, which that means the back button on the Android devices will also work, which is fantastic. Cool. So what's up for our next videos? We're going to be building the homepage, the actual elements, the classes, plans, library. We're going to be digging into database stuff. And pat yourself on the back. This was a bit of a trek to get this far. And what we've been able to accomplish, again, is a working menu, just like what we've seen here. We've gotten, to recap, we've gotten a little bit, we've dipped our toes into what Bubble can do. We've seen that we can create different elements and put them on the page. And then we can manipulate or take action to do something when one of those is clicked. So that's kind of all we've got for this video. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for joining on this journey, and we'll see you in the next one.